Happy Friday, everybody. Marlene, aka Snowgardener 307, and we are here today to talk about how much my recent vacation to Hawaii cost. So I realized I haven't put my face up for a while, and I actually fixed my hair. You guys, I don't have a ball cap on, so I was like, I better show my face really quick. I do want to let you guys know that my timeline today is pretty short, so I am going to try to do this pretty much unedited in one take. So if I make small mistakes, they're probably not going to come out. I had to make a trip out of town really quick to deal with probate issues with my stepfather's estate. So that kind of cut my time. So let's go ahead and flip around. We're going to do just a picture or a video of papers that I've written out for you guys. It's going to be pretty basic. And we are going to do a couple savings challenges at the end because, of course, you guys know we're working on paying our mortgage down. But I wanted to share with you guys how much this trip cost us. And if you're interested in more details about the Hawaiian vacation, like you want to see some video footage or some photos or some vlogging in Hawaii, then you're going to want to make sure and tune into my newest channel, Marlene, aka Snowgardener 307. So let's go ahead and flip it around. So here we are. As I told you guys, it's nothing fancy. We're just going to walk through them. If you did not know, my husband and I have been on a debt-free journey for several years now. 6 years ago, I was a single mother of two. I was dating my now husband, but I had all of my own bills and all of my own debt. I had almost $50,000 in debt. Just credit card debt, not including a car loan, a student loan, a land loan, all of that stuff. And my husband had his own debt as well. I am super proud to say that the only debt that my husband and I have left now, even with traveling every single year and some years multiple times, is our mortgage. So we have been able to live our best life and pay off debt. Of course, we haven't done everything we wanted to do, right? But let's talk about Hawaii. So we went to Hawaii this month. And if you are familiar with Hawaii and what has been going on with Hawaii, we were there during the first Kona storm. So this was an interesting trip and we made memories. They just weren't the ones that we expected. So we were there for 7 nights. And for airfare, I was able to use Hawaiian Airlines miles. And the original airfare amount that we paid for both of us to fly round trip to Hawaii from Salt Lake City was $47.40. Well, my husband is 6'2" and flying a 7-hour flight, smushed in a middle seat, in the back of the plane doesn't sound good. So I had selected some seats and paid extra for those, going one way. One way was Hawaiian Airlines, one way was American Airlines. And because of my status with American, we get to pick seats for free. So I had done that, and that was a couple $100, I think. But then an offer came up to where I could upgrade to first class on Hawaii, or I could bid. And I was like, you know what, let me bid. A 7-hour flight, that would be pretty nice for first class. So I went ahead and bid. It was the lowest bid that they would accept was $450. So that, was $900. But first class, and we only paid $47.40. And so I went ahead and bid. I was totally surprised that we got it. So when you do that, you pay for the upgrade and you pay for the seats that you had already previously picked. And this did add to our total quite a bit. And so our airfare went up to $1,161.40. Now, if we would have gotten these seats full price, I priced them out to seat, they would have cost us $4,366 and we paid $1,161.40. Now, if I hadn't used airline miles, our airfare would have been $1,505.32 to sit with no seat choices or upgrades at all. So I still think we got a great deal. But was this in the budget? Probably not right now. So that was our airfare. And this is the reason, one of the reasons why we chose to go to Hawaii was because of the cheaper airfare. Now, for our resort and our rental car, I went through American Airlines Vacations, and the cost of 7 nights at Outrigger, which is a super nice hotel, and it looks like their nightly rates are average about $450 a night. And then we got a Mustang convertible from Budget Rent-A-Car, and we actually did 8 days for that. And so our total for that was $2,230.26. Now, one thing that I didn't know, and I didn't do enough research on, was all of the extra fees that we were going to pay. Fees and taxes, right? Sometimes those get us. And so right here, for resort fees and parking, it was $510.72 when we checked out. And for car, all the extra taxes and everything, was another $242.62. So when you look at this, this takes our vacation package, that was $22.30, which is a great price, and jumps it up, to about $3,000. So I did go ahead and break down the daily resort charges that were part of the resort because it blew my mind. So every single day we paid a $35 resort charge, and then we paid $1.65, which was the general excise tax. We paid a daily resort state TAT, which is a transient accommodation tax of $3.85, and then a county transient accommodation of $1.05. And then, even though we paid all that money for the resort, we had to pay for parking every single day of $30, and the general excise tax was $1.41. This was for every single day that we were at the resort. So I was surprised by those fees, but that is my fault, you guys. I was an uneducated traveler who didn't look up everything. So that was my fault. So that is page 1. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into scuba diving. We went to Hawaii to scuba dive. Now, unfortunately, with the Kona storm, things got changed. But with this right here for scuba diving, we had 6 tank dives, and that included a night dive with the manta rays, which is 98% of the reason we went to Hawaii. That's what my husband just told his friend, 98%. So that's where I got that. Since those got canceled, we had the manta dive. It got canceled, so that gave us $536.50. And then we had a 2-tank morning dive that got canceled for $465.49. So we spent $465.49 on scuba diving. So right here you can see we, basically saved $1,000 by not scuba diving. But for us, it was greatly disappointed, a great disappointment, however you want to say it. And we were just fortunate, though. By the end of the trip, we were so fortunate that we were able to get out, even though with the Kona storm and stuff, the visibility wasn't great, but that's okay. We're okay with that. So that was our scuba diving. And then we paid for a luau, which got moved indoors multiple times, and we finally did it indoors. And for me personally, this was the biggest waste of money for the entire trip. So it was $384.82. We were sitting in a hotel conference room, and of course the performers were still great, and I loved learning more history about the island, and the food was okay and the drinks were okay, honestly. And I've been to a luau before on the beach, and so maybe that's for me why the disappointment was so great. But people, the way the seating was, you couldn't see everything, you couldn't hear everything, and so for me, I thought that it was a huge waste of money. We also had to pay for parking for that because that's not enough money for 2 people. Okay, and then my husband and I, we live in Wyoming. Well, we had to travel to Salt Lake City to fly out. And our flight to Hawaii was early in the morning. So we did get a hotel, and we had to pay for parking. So the hotel was free. I did use my Hyatt rewards. I like to use travel credit cards. And so my 2 main ones that I use, the first one I use is American Airlines, and the second one is Hyatt for the hotel rooms. And so the hotel was free. And then the parking for the week was at the parking spot, so off airport, and it was $98.55. That was a great deal. They had a sale going, and so that is the cheapest amount that we have paid to park. So that was fabulous. And then food and drinks. All right, so my husband and I, we went to Walmart and Smith's, and on groceries, we spent $44.47. Now, if you want to see info about that, I do have that, or I'm going to have that on my other channel, Marlene, aka Snow Gardener 307. But it was very, very basic. And so we got some bagels, we got some bread, we got some fruit, we got some milk. And so we spent $44.47 there. And then on dining out, we spent $493.50. I can tell you this, my husband and I, every single day, had at least one meal made out of our groceries and the food that we brought from home. And one day we had 2 meals because everything was closed because of the storm, or it was harder to find stuff. And we also only had one meal that was what I consider a nicer, more expensive meal. We had Poke, we had a poke flight appetizer. We had alcoholic beverages. We each had our own dinner. And so it was more expensive. So we did go on a budget for those. Now, we also love coffee. My husband loves coffee and I love chai tea. And we spent $70.09 on that. It would have been more if it wasn't for the storm, because the coffee place that we found was closed 2 days because of the storm. So on food and drinks, we spent $608.06. And then for gas, we spent $246.86. I did add the parking fee for the luau in here. It was $7. Normally it would have been $35, but since we were at the luau, it was only $7. This includes gas to Salt Lake and back from Salt Lake, but the gas rate here was way less expensive than in Hawaii. For normal fuel in Hawaii, it was like 5 something, depending on where you were on the island. And when we left, I know the fuel has gone up now, so I have no doubt it's more expensive. When we left Wyoming, we were paying less than $3. And so when we fueled up, it was like $2.49 a gallon. So that just gives you an idea there. So that was our gas. And now we've got another page here. Let's go ahead and get this right. I'm trying to keep it all secretive so you guys don't know the total, because the last page that I have is the total. There we go. I could not get it separated. Okay, so then you can see here for gifts, we spent $125.73. This includes gifts for ourselves, gifts for my daughter and my son, as well as my granddaughter and my in-laws and my sister-in-law. Nothing too big. This also included, like, I bought myself a belt, and I needed a belt because I forgot one. So it included that as well. So not a huge expense, really. And then we've got miscellaneous. Oh, actually, the miscellaneous includes my belt. So $15 for my belt. The other $30 was the entrance fee to the Volcano National Park. We are very fortunate that we got to see that before the storms hit. The volcano erupted the day before we arrived, so half of the park was closed because of all the tetra. I had no idea, you guys. I learned so much, and the tetra is very interesting, that came out of the volcano. And then because of the storms, the Volcano National Park was closed. We were going to go back and try to see more, and we weren't able to. So we only got to do 1 day at the national park, but $45 for miscellaneous. So not included in this, food we brought from home. So because we were first class on Hawaiian Airlines, we got 2 free bags each. And with American Airlines, at the level that I am, we actually get 3 free bags each. So my husband and I each brought a bag. And my bag, half of it is filled with our scuba diving stuff. So we did take our fins, we did take our mask, we took, all of our wetsuits, stuff like that as well. So that was half of my luggage, in my defense. And then my husband had his. So we went ahead and did a 3rd suitcase, not a big suitcase, but in there we went ahead and put beach towels and a beach blanket. And that was to kind of insulate the food, but also so it didn't have to go in our other bags. We brought things like peanut butter and jelly. We brought trail mix. We brought nuts. We brought chips. We brought snacks. We brought candy. We brought that type of stuff with us, knowing when we got to Hawaii, we were going to buy bread and milk. And at the store too, we did buy a 2-liter of Coke Zero, and we also bought cream cheese for the bagels. So it doesn't include any food we brought from home. It also doesn't include any clothes or shoes that may have been purchased for the trip. Like, I definitely bought my husband 2 pairs of flip-flops because he needed new flip-flops, but he needed new flip-flops, period. And I actually don't even think that I bought any new clothes for this trip, which is amazing, but it doesn't include anything like that. And so it didn't include any of the snack type shopping that I did either. So let's talk about this. So we've got our grand total. Are you guys ready to see how much this trip cost us? And this is saving $1,000 on scuba diving because we didn't get to dive. So this trip cost us $6,118.51. This is the most expensive vacation that I believe we have ever taken. Now, Don't get me wrong. There are other vacations that we're going to take that are going to be more expensive. But I will be honest with you guys, this was not in the budget right now. It really wasn't, but we did it anyway, and it will be okay. We are finding a way to pay for it. So I did some stuff down here where I wanted to show you guys that if I hadn't done the upgrades and the seat choices, it would have been $5,004.51. So we could have made it cheaper, right? I mean, that's quite a bit for an upgrade, but when you look at how much the regular airfare was, it wouldn't have been as much. Now, the reason why we don't travel to places like Hawaii and stuff is because I can often do a week at a resort, an all-inclusive resort with flights and everything to Mexico and scuba dive included for half of this, with all of the scuba dive included. So actually less than half, because if we would have had all that scuba diving, it would have been, over $7,000. We generally, for Mexico, spend less than $3,000. So that is our vacation total. Now let's go ahead and do some savings challenges. Here we are. We've got a few savings challenges. We've got $80 is what we have today. And so I have a couple scratch offs and a couple other games, but I want to go ahead and start off with the Georgette Shut the Box. This is available on my website. That's the cheapest place that you're going to find it. We're going to go ahead and grab a couple dice because I have not done that yet. Like, I didn't know I needed dice for Shut the Box, right? And this one is very simple. If you've never played it before, you roll 2 dice. And with the rules for this game right here, you roll 2 dice, you add them up. So say you rolled that right there, it was a 4. You could cross off 4, or you could do a 3 and a 1. The bigger the numbers, of course, the more variation. So let's go ahead and start out. I just threw that dice on the floor, so we're going to grab a different one. And we are going to say no whammies, no whammies, big bucks, big bucks. So let's go ahead and roll. So we have a 6, so we're going to cross that off. We have got a 7. All right, no whammies, no whammies. We've got a 10, so a 9 and a 1. If I cross off every single number, it is $25. So I've got an 8, I've got a 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've got an 11, and we cannot do an 11 with only 2 numbers. Yes, I know 5, 4, and 2 add up to 11, but in this set of rules, it's only 2 numbers. So we owe $14 for Shut the Box, and I just realized we don't have our sticky note out for our tracker. So Shut the Box, $14. I like to keep track what I do for each savings challenge. So we're going to grab $14 out of the pile so we don't forget to do it. Now let's see, what do we have below that? We've got Royal Draw. So we need our cards for this one right here. We've got our cards. These are all the cards that we've already played. These are the ones that we have not played. So let's go ahead and shuffle and let's draw 3 cards today. And then I will go ahead and use my dot marker to cross off which ones we draw. So let's go ahead and draw 3 cards. So 1, 2, and 3. So not too shabby. Now with this game that I designed right here, you guys, it is very simple. Of course, all of the regular cards, the 2 through 10, are face value. And I let you pick the ace, king, queen, king. And I went a little bit lower on this one than I did in the past. So my king is only $5. So that is a king of spades. So I'm going to use my dot marker for that one. I've got a 5 of spades, which is $5. So that's $10. And we've got a 2 of hearts. So that is $12 for royalty draw. And that wasn't too bad. $12, right? So 10, 11, and 12. And then for my cards, I put them back in the box just like this. I have a set of cards in my office that is only for me to play this so nobody messes up my cards. Then we've got Lucky Dice Drop. And we're going to play this one. We're going to get our little turtle. I don't know if you guys watch my daily games or not, but I have been playing this one since it is March. So I figured let's go ahead and play it one more time. We need 1 die, and we're going to take our turtle and have him go down to a pot of gold at the bottom. Let's see. Hopefully we have enough money for this. Uh-oh. We've got $5 and $6 for the first roll. And we've got 6. I should have kept my mouth shut, you guys. I jinxed myself. And we've got a 1. And the turtle, and he is just going down. A 4, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a 5, but put a 1 back. I almost grabbed the turtle instead of the die. And $3 more, so 1, 2, and 3. And a 2. Whew, we have enough money. So 1, 2, and then our pot of gold down at the bottom is $5. This has a lot of variations when you buy it. Again, the cheapest place to buy this is going to be on my website. All right, let's take a look. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 16. Oops, if I would have done it right. We've got 5, 10, 15, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 27 for a lucky dice drop. That was a pretty good batch there. And I like the turtle. He's just fun. He just goes along. So we still have some money. And I do have some ones. So let's go ahead and trade those out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And let's grab that other 10. That way we don't have to make a whole bunch of change. So we have got happiness is a hot bubble bath. Let's go ahead and scratch 2 of these. Now, these are pretty big ones. These are 3 to 15. And this is only available on my Etsy shop. So if you want this one, you've got to go check out Etsy. So we've got $12 there. Let's go ahead and do this one right here. So we've got $19 for bath for Georgette for her bubble bath. So $19. And let's see what we've got left to play with. I really don't want to go over my amount today, you guys. So 5, 10, 15... 16, 17, 18, and 19, and we still have quite a bit left. Let's go ahead and do one more on here, and I'll just add it to my list right there. Okay, we'll do $9 for that, so 19 plus 9, and I'm going to go ahead and put $1 back in here and grab 2 5s. Now, let's go ahead and do Georgette, you're a star. So this is a small challenge. It's a $25 challenge, so it's 1 to 5. We're going to scratch both of these on the front. And my sister-in-law drew Georgette with a star on her belly because I asked her to. So we have a 4 and a 1, and so that's $5. And then we have got all these stars on the back. $1 per star is what I had said. So I didn't grab a marker. Let me grab a marker really quick. Let's go ahead and color these in. And I say we see how many stars we've got. So we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Let's just go ahead and do 14. And then that way we're getting closer to being done and we're saving the money. So that would be $19 for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and color in 14 stars. And I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye for now. I want to thank you guys for joining me. And of course, as always, remember to keep on smiling. Bye, everybody.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations.